Hello, today I'm going to show you how to use the Kismet in the editor. So to open the Kismet window, find it right next to where we open the generic browser, this K symbol. So click and it will open a new window. So I'm going to maximize this and I'm gonna show the useful ones and tell you how to connect things, and I want to show maybe a few examples how to use it, but going over every option is too much for a video. But to add things, we right click and we can add a new action, condition, matinee, variable, and events. You can also add a comment. So for these events, we can, this is the most useful ones, or most used one, sorry. And you can leave everything here in this properties by default. You see these events have red outline to it, and it also has a output to it and at the input. I can check for hidden variables. We can change the max trigger count. So if we click on it, then we can change, creating a new int variable by right clicking on this square, create new int variable. So in here we can change with a set variable and other things. So I'm going to remove this. And other events is the level reset. And maybe startup, or these console events. These are you can create a binding and cause an event. Then it will be trigger from that. It's console event name, and you can also when faith dies, death. I think this or another one that says player death, I think. And there's a player spawned. And player death. So and then you see there's a bunch of different things. Even for the time trials, it has some things too. And there's some tutorial. These are a bunch of different events that you can use. And for the variables, let's add a new variable. These booleans. These variables are in a circular form, and these booleans have a red outline to it. You can change it to its value. Could it be 1 or 0? So 1 is true, 0 is false. Another useful variable is a float. These are blue, dark blue. change the float value. You can even add the variable name, so like timer. I think it capitalizes the first letter. And then you can also add a object comment that will display above it. So we could this boolean like timer started is for example. Another variable is a random float, and here we can change the what it should be from. Default is from 1 to 0. That is if you want some orangey. This is like same for the int variables. They are light blue. These can't have any decimal places. This is also a random integer. This is from 0 to 100. You can obviously change this. And yeah, you can have some named variable. So instead of having like 2 timers with the variable, you can only have one with the variable name. So if you want to reference this, you can change find variable name. If you want to find timer, so then we need to drag this right now it doesn't have any color, but drags from let me show quick see. Yeah, like this. And if you drag it from here, then will change the color. Some other variables is the object. I have a group of group of objects. Not really that used, but it's more like object. It will have pink, and since it doesn't have any object reference to it, it will display 3 question marks. It's the object value. So we can assign this. Go to our viewport here. It's gonna add a what should I add? When using the like a reference, you can it's not the best ones, but so I add it as an interactor, and then I can reference this by highlighting it, going back to our Kismet. If it doesn't open when you press this K, it's because it's down here for some reason. But I can expand it again. So you can right click, assign to object variables, and then we'll display the name, and here you can see the class, what type it is, the map, and then the actor, like the name of it. Some other variables are sounds. It's like used, and I haven't used it so much. And this is a string variable. These are green. It's a string value, so whatever you type here. So if you type hey, will show. Some other variables are like in this takedown. There's a local pawn. It's a reference to faith. So it doesn't even have an object value here like this one had, but it says player pawn. And then we can add a vector. It's basically free floats. So if you change these, it will also display here. And condition, we can compare bool, since it only has two values. I can show one example of this compare bool. So I'm going to use this level loaded and visible. I'm going to drag. Can you drag from in to this out, or do it the other way? And I can also disconnect this, like right clicking on this, and I can break all links, or I could break a specific link. This will show all the links it has to. But yeah, this bool is to check. For example, this timer started. It's now false. So to show it in the game, we can add a supers message. So if we go to action, go to takedown, and then supers message. I'm gonna copy this again. And change the duration of the message to 5 seconds on both. And when it's true, you say true, and for the other, false. So once the level is loaded, we'll check if it's true or false. If it's true, we'll activate this supers message, or whatever you have here. And this false doesn't get activated, or this true doesn't get activated since it's false. So if you go to level and play from here, or play level, see, our boolean was false, and it display false. So that's like how you can use a compare bool. There's also other comparison, compare float. Here we have a bunch of different outputs. So you could like check this like orangey if it's Right. If this timer, for example, was here, let's move this here. So we have something connected to this in. Then we'll check if B is equal or greater than A, then this will be activated. Or if it's like A is greater than B, this will activate it, and etc. Yeah. Another condition is compare integers. It's the same. Yeah, the only difference is really like the text here and these. Yeah, these three are the most used ones. This counter is used, but I'm not really sure how it works. And new actor is where you're going to find most of the stuff you want. Okay, you can attach the actor, cause some damage, change collision, destroy. Basically, remove it from the level. You can get the distance. Yeah, there you can show the difference between all these. You can check the here. Basically, sometimes these tooltips display what these do, but sometimes, as you might have noticed, is you say the. Let me see if I find one. Yeah, here it says C++ text. Yeah, and here you can change collision. So this target is, for example, if I wanted to change this collision, it has to be interp actor. So highlight it. I'm going to create a new object variable and then select this, and then I can, like after attach to actor, get distance or any of these like outputs on the right and not to the left, because you won't connect to any of these. So this has to be, yeah, from right to left. You can't connect right to right and only right to the left. There's you can teleport. There's two different ones. One you can teleport the target to destination. And if you want to be like specific, then you can use this. Then you can, like for example, this vector 3, like teleport Faith or any interp actor. You can also update rotation if you need to, or and just some AI stuff, which I will show in later tutorials. See with the camera and the matte. That's basically how you can move or animate stuff. So, what is event here? Activate remote event. So once you like teleported can here, then we need to, if I zoom out and go to another location, go to event, add remote event. So I can say like teleported, go to this remote event here, it says teleported. Then we'll have like green shark mark because it found one. Now you can change the trigger count also. And then you can have some stuff here. And it works also on different sequences. So if you have multiple ones and you want to like talk to them, I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to talk to other level sub-levels, you can use this activate remote event. It's like really useful. And you use some level changing stuff. Yeah, level of interaction. And you can have some add float. Used to go up here. It also has a integer result, which I think runs up. Some have add integer like the same but different. I can see different color here, but you can also cast the float. So if you have an integer that you wanted it to be a float, you can cast it to a float. Same with the integer, you can divide a float. And even like multiply and subtract. There's a miscellaneous menu. You can add a console command. These are really like powerful. And for this target you need to add a faith to it, so like a local pawn. So there's some delay here. This one is like, yeah. So you just start a delay. So the duration is 1. And you can like add RNG, run a float. So it says you want minimum 5 and maximum 10. Then we'll randomize this and will be paused. I say if it was 7 seconds, or like, yeah, 7. Pause for 7 seconds. Just once it finish, and you can drag this to other things and even start this delay again. You can, or even once another condition is true, you can stop this or pause or whatever. And here's some gates too. If you know how this works, so right now it's let me think. Yeah, if this goes like in here, and this in. But if it's like closed by default, it won't activate, only unless then all of this will go in. I haven't used this that much, but could be useful. Some other you can give inventory if you want to give a weapon when you spawn. So I'm going to drag this to level loaded and visible, and then a target. I need face. I could drag this to here, or I can just create another one. Doesn't really matter that much. And here we can clear existing weapon if we already had a weapon, but we don't, so I'm not gonna bother checking it. Then we need to have an inventory list. So there are a bunch of weapons we can pick from. So if I spawn now, I will be given a MP5K. And there's some set variables. You can set the target if you drag here. So if I want this to be, I can set it to false again, or I can set it to true. I can do it if it's be given inventory or any of these. It also has from float, integer, string, vector, and object. So the ones you could use like play sound here. You can play a specific target, and go to sound, and like TD play sound. And you can change the target and offset. But these other ones are for changing music. I don't really use that much. And this stashing is also a multiplayer thing that never got used. There's some switch things. Can switch delayed. So if we change the link count to 6 ways, okay. So we'll activate this first, link 2, which is aborted for some reason. Link 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's better to just use like this delay, or if you want, you can just try, see what it does. Some random change the link count, near the active link. So if it's activated link 5, then this will be 5, so it could be useful. There's some switch and ranged near takedown. It's a bunch of things. For example, You can disable player input. Enable target is obviously face. And you can disable the look input or the movement input. And it's the same for enable, but it's obviously it doesn't have the properties because we enable it. So here we can choose what to disable. And some other, you can enable reaction time or disable it. Some fade effect. For example, copy this, or just show here. You can have fade in and fade out and color. So once this fade is completed, you can put this random or whatever. Yeah, once it's like completed, you can like give inventory, or once you give an inventory, you can go to this here and break. Kind of like that. So once this is show what works. So I'm gonna move this to here. Oh, maybe it's fade out, yeah. Okay, it's way too fast to see. So I'm gonna make it last 3 seconds. Yeah, there was fade to it. Could change the color. I can selecting both of these and maybe, I don't know if maybe it works. Yep. So let's see what other takedown things there are. Yes, you can also the camera FOV. So once this is completed, with the fifth, new FOV. Let's do like 120, just to show that it works. So now our FOV is different. But for some reason when you jump, go back to the default. So you could instead use the console command. Yeah, console command completed and type FOV, yeah, 120 again. Now we have our new FOV and we can jump with it and some fake post-process effect, or like follow back, give full-time reaction. And this in elevator basically makes so you can't jump. You see, and some other things are for speed run timer. If you have some like some event going on in your level and you want to pause the speedrun timer, like a cutscene, then you can super message. I think I use this you can open scenes like UI, set active checkpoint. The checkpoints will go through another tutorial. Here's some achievements and some tutorials for which are special for the tutorial level. And here you can toggle stuff. So for like toggle hidden, let's can use some RNG to compare bool condition. No, compare float. Yeah. And then no, let's just use a compare int. So once level is loaded, and here I want to randomize this. I want to create a new variable, int, random int. 0 to 100 is too much. 0 and 3. If you check it's free, then we're going to hide something. We're going to hide the unused connectors. So, and you can also show all connectors, and you can even hide a specific one, like hide output. But we can also change the delay of these connections by setting set active delay. You can type like 3 here, then only like once these go here it will delay for 3 seconds, or then it will be activated. So yeah, we need to have a target, so I'm going to select this dirt. Since it's an interactor, I can hide it. And if I play level, see, no, maybe I should disable the fade effect. Still there. A more efficient way to check it works is using a trigger. So if we go to this room, select and go to add actor, add trigger. We can see it's collision by pressing C. Then we can change the radius and height. We go to the trigger category, open cylinder component, go to collision height. So 40 is by default. And to see where the trigger is, we can change the display and set to be hidden to be false. This is to show. Here's a trigger. Right now it doesn't do anything. So if I select the trigger, open Kismet, I'm going to add here. We see here we can add a new event using the trigger too. So we can add like TD touch. And here's some. We can activate once this has been touched, or if it has been touched and then like you go away from the trigger, then this will be activated. So I'm going to disconnect this and I connect from touched. I'm going to change max trigger count to be infinite, set it to 0. So no. If I go to this and wait 3 seconds, try again. Okay, I'm gonna remove the delay here. Yeah, to remove delay, you set it back to 0. Then we'll be so let's see now. Yeah, there it got hidden. So that's how we can use like RNG to your level. No, it won't be activated again. Also be hidden. You want to unhide it, you can use this toggle. So if you disconnect this, go to toggle. And if I go to this, come on RNG. So now it's hidden. And now it needs to be like free again to go back to be now it's back. Let's use one example how you can use that. And there's also different types of triggers. So I'm gonna go outside here and buy this. So if you open generic browser, go to actor classes, scroll down to the trigger and expand it. Expand trigger again and click on this so it's highlighted, TD trigger. And go back to level and then add TD trigger. And this trigger is a bit different, but that is because it's a button. Like when you press a button in an elevator or some other. So now you can see the half circle and then the trigger area. For now I'm just gonna place it here. Open up Kismet and example, once we add event td used, so I'm going to use this console command. So once this has been finished, it's going to change the FOV. If I save, go back to level. So now press E here. So now FOV changed, and it even played a sound too. And you can't use it again because it's max trigger count 1. So you can use the button trigger. You can also change the type. Go to this TD trigger and trigger type. So there's a button, valve, and button high. So for example, a valve, change the icon, and you can change how many revs and other things. Should play the sound too. Let's see what else. Yeah, these comments. You can, if you click on this here, it's gonna give you that comment. It will show blue text here. This has some properties. You can draw a box. Then you can hold Control, click on this bottom right here. You can drag this. So for example, just gonna leave it here. You can change the border width. So you can change it to 5 or 1. And you can change the color too. Look like green. And if you want to change the in here, you need to, you can see the comment here, and then change the fill color to red. So and then you can change the comment again. You can change the size too. And this wrap here, basically, so you can comment inside of it. So I don't know. So this does this, blah. But you can't add a like this here. But one thing it doesn't, you see, this gets big if you zoom out, and then if you zoom in, it like scales with the how far you scrolled in and scroll out. But this doesn't. So it's up to you what to use. But you could use the new comment and then like position it somewhat close there, and can have both of these. And I think I should at least teach you the basics. Also like some sequence. For example, yeah, let's just do this here. I want to create a sequence because I want to use this again. Create new sequence. Leave it at that. See, it created a with the name and it says auto in. If we go here, check, oh, sequence activated, and then we can add a boolean. So we go to external value variable, so it's the external boolean. So if we go back, and we can change the name of it here, variable name to I'm just gonna leave it a bool. Can't think of anything better. So we go here, then we can have our bool here, and then we can also add an output here. If you go in here, go to action, go to what's it? Where is it? There, finish the sequence. So you can set from here to here. This doesn't have an output for some reason, which I don't know why. This is something Dice did. So we can change the output label. So if I type like ABC, then we show ABC here. So this can so that's at least the basic of the Kismet. You can like combine all of these and make some cool stuff. And so next tutorial will be about how to create time trials. And so yeah, see ya.